Yours is to serve, unto the last drop of your blood, that your brothers might live to fight on. Watch over them, heal them, offer up your very life should it extend theirs but a moment, and by your sacrifice the enemy be slain. And when the time comes that you must fulfill your most solemn oath, speak clearly, speak proudly, speed the bolt that brings his end, and send him joyous to the Emperor's side. Then do your duty, take that which is due, and know your mission is done. This was an extract from the Apotheca of Eons, verse 5, chapter L. In my previous video about the Tech Marines, I said that the Apotheca of Eons is possibly a religious text from the Mechanicus, but I was incorrect. I apologize for the mistake. Hello, and welcome back to the Wisdom of Warhammer channel, and in today's video, I will be talking about the vital importance of the Apothecaries in the Space Marine chapters. I'll be going over the Apothecary and what their role is on the battlefield and off the battlefield. Then I will talk about when an Apothecary joins the Deathwatch, their Wargear, and then at the end of the lore section, I will talk about different variants of the Apothecaries. I will then summarize the lore of the Apothecaries and then finish the video on the importance of the Apothecaries. Side note, I do not own any artwork in the video, and all things Warhammer under the ownership of Games Workshop and Black Library. Now, with the intro out of the way, let's get the video started, shall we? Apothecaries have been around since when the legions were created. I think that the first Apothecaries were possibly trained by the gene cults of Luna, named the Selenar, who mass-produced the legions after Luna was brought into the Imperium. One reason that I think this was the case was that the Selenar had the most advanced genetic engineering technology, which allowed the mass production of legionaries, and they were forced to teach the Marines who would eventually become the first Apothecaries. But this is all speculation. I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on the matter. But continuing on with the Great Crusade, some legions had defects in gene seed malfunctions, for example, 1,000 Sons with the Flesh Change and Emperor's Children with the Blight. But without their Primarchs, they would not be able to cure their gene seed issue, but only keep it at bay, which didn't work well. But the Apothecaries served as combat medics and created new Space Marines due to the knowledge from the Astartes project. Whenever a legionary died in combat, their gene seed would be recovered by an Apothecary and used to create another legionnaire. When all the Primarchs were found, the purity of the gene seeds of the legions were increased, and the Emperor's Children's blight was cured, but the 1,000 Sons' flesh change stopped for a time, but came back later during the burning of Prospero. They were mainly in the background and still did their normal duties during the Horus Heresy, and continued up to the current timeline and to the introduction of the Primaris Marines. In the current time, their duties are the same, but due to the current state of the galaxy, the weight of their chapter is heavier than before. Due to the amount of war that is going on, they are constantly working on making new Space Marines, but thankfully they still have the technology and knowledge of making sure that their battle brothers are well. Recently, with the new Primaris Marines, they are able to create more enhanced Space Marines rather than the Firstborn Marines, which lightens their load a bit. They still go on missions and serve as combat medics and recover gene seed when a Marine dies, and they heal their battle brothers from serious injuries. When they can't save a battle brother, they give the Emperor's Mercy, which is them putting a drill through a battle brother's head, giving them quick and painless death. They can assist in doing basic medical aid to regular humans, but that is very rare due to the medicine that they have, which can kill a normal person, but can help stem bleeding and put a dislocated shoulder back in. But like I said, this is very rare, and the only thing they focus on healing is their battle brothers and recovering gene seed from dead ones. Now, when a chapter is fighting the Tyranids, a battle brother dies, the nearest Apothecary will fight extremely hard to recover that gene seed, but if not, they will destroy it to prevent it from being devoured. When they have gene seed that was recovered from a dead Marine, they will take it back to the Apothecarium, which is located in a complex of vaults under a fortress monastery or one of the fortified towers. These places hold the medical equipment and the genetic history of the chapter, and of course the gene seed of the chapter. This place is protected by gun servitors and a bunch of Apothecaries who will fight like beasts just to protect the gene seed, which sounds terrifying. But the invading force will have to go through the other Space Marines first. The Apothecaries are there from day one when they get new aspirants, and they scan them for mutation and to make sure that the new organs work correctly. Because without them to check for these things, will result in the neophyte to die from their body rejecting the organs and or the organs emerging together, which will kill them painfully. Another important duty that the apothecaries do when they're not looking over the recruits is that they make sure that the gene seed doesn't become mutated or corrupted, which will spread to a whole batch of neophytes, which will be bad, of course. Apothecaries are also skilled in grafting bionics to missing limbs and are also able to use the bioseed of space marines to regrow lungs, livers, and hearts. They can even use it to regrow skin whenever a battle brother's skin has been melted off or flayed off. During campaigns, the apothecaries are only able to heal a battle brother in a cruder and quick way because they need to go back to fighting, but this is only during extended campaigns. When a battle brother dies, and if they have any bionics, the apothecaries will take the bionics and keep it, and will graft it to a battle brother who needs it. Apothecaries are known to take the long watch with the Deathwatch and take on a few more duties in the kill teams, but they must master the genetic inheritance of their chapter and learn about the different gene seeds of other chapters so they can understand them a bit more. Due to them learning the genetic history of other chapters, they are in a unique position of trust because they learn about the traits, variations, and the mutations of that chapter. If the apothecary breaks his oath and exposes the genetic history of a chapter, he will be punished severely. Another duty of the Deathwatch apothecaries is that they study alien biology and see if there's anything that is a threat to the immune systems and body of the kill team members. Also, the Deathwatch apothecaries are highly involved in the training of the kill teams because all Deathwatch Marines are pushing their bodies to the limits and must be watched closely. They are a part of the training and aid the watch captains in creating effective and arduous training regimens. During training, the apothecary will cause issues to his battle brothers. For example, interfacing remotely with his battle brother's armor, he will disable a limb, limit blood oxygen supply, and or stimulate the effect of poison, all done to keep combat readiness maintained. The greatest duty of a Deathwatch apothecary is to return the gene seed of a fallen Marine to his parent chapter. Without this duty, the chapters will not be sending Marines to the Deathwatch and a lot of dead Inquisitors. So this duty is very important for the Deathwatch apothecaries. The Wargear of an apothecary has the basic power armor, but it is modified for apothecaries. Starting off with the Diagnoster helmet, which has built-in upgraded auto senses and readouts to help them treat wounded battle brothers and to keep their physical combat readiness. The next piece of equipment is the Narcanthium, which is built on their gauntlet, and this piece of equipment allows them to treat their battle brothers without removing their power armor during combat. It also holds some medical supplies, for example, skin patches, transfusions, various counterspectics, and several stasis tubes for gene seed. There's a piece that is built into the Narcanthium which is called the Reductor, which can help retrieve and store the gene seed in reduced time. This part is located on the gauntlet on the wrist, which includes a molecular saw which penetrates armors and a diamantine-tipped drill extractor. The last important piece of the apothecary is the Mark X Tacticus power armor, which is a modified for the apothecary, which is equipped with surgical tools on the back. In recent lore with High Fleet Leviathan, there is a new variant called Apothecary Biologists. Their job is the same as I explained earlier within the Deathwatch section, but now they collect biological matter from Xenos corpses so they can understand them better so they can kill them more effectively. Another variant of the apothecary is the Sanguinary Priest, who is the specialist officer in the Blood Angels chapter and the successor chapters of the Great Angel. They do the same as every other apothecary in the chapters, but the thing that makes them unique is that they tend to those who have fallen to the Black Rage, which is a heavy burden. The last variant that I have is the Wolf Priest. This is obviously a Space Wolf apothecary, which is a hybrid of an apothecary and chaplain, and they are the spiritual beacons and the medics of the Space Wolves. Now to summarize the lore of the apothecaries, starting at the beginning. They were created when the legions were mass-produced on Luna and were possibly trained by the Selenar on the Space Marine physiology and how to heal it. They were mostly in the background during the Great Crusade just to make sure that the legions were healed and ready for combat. Some legions had unstable gene seed like the Thousand Sons and the Emperor's Children, but they did the best they could to prevent the spread and death of their legions. Didn't really do anything except their normal duties up until the current timeline with the introduction of the Primaris Marines. Apothecaries keep the gene seed of their chapter protected within gun defenses in fortified vaults or towers. Also, they will fight hard to keep the gene seed protected. They also look at the gene seed for mutation and corruption because it can spread to others, causing batches of recruits to die or worse. Apothecaries in the Deathwatch must keep the secrets of others' chapter's genetic flaws to himself and must return the gene seed when a Marine dies to his parent chapter. While in the Deathwatch, they study alien biology to understand the enemy better, and they must keep a close eye on the kill team members due to them pushing themselves to the limit. There are different variants of apothecaries in the chapters, but the difference isn't much. One just watches specific Marines closely, and the other is a hybrid between the apothecary and the chaplain. Now, going into why they are important is because without them, there would be no new Space Marines, and the injured Marines would not be able to be healed correctly. Also, without them, they're not able to see if the gene seed is mutated or corrupted, and if that happens, then a bunch of potential battle brothers would be dead before seeing combat. Another big reason why they're important is because they are able to study alien biology, which can help the chapter kill that other species effectively. Other than that, the Apothecaries don't do much more than that. They're just the medics and the scientists of the Space Marine chapters. But if I missed something, please write down in the comments because I probably got something wrong or missed something. Now, we have gotten to the end of the video on the vital importance of the Apothecaries in the Space Marine chapters. In the next video, I'll break down how a Space Marine chapter is structured and the different combat specializations that are in the chapters. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button and send it to someone who would like this content. If you are new to the channel and like to see more, hit the subscribe button and bell notification for when a new video comes out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have no fear because the Apothecary is here. This is Wisdom of Warhammer, signing off.